I've been curious for a while about the source of this meme, so I decided to watch its anime. So episode 1, and gotta close the pop-up ads first. Any second now. Any second.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is the most popular anime meme on the internet. If you haven't seen it before, then A, you probably live here. B, it's a screen from an old 90s anime where this android robot character points confusedly to a butterfly asking, "Is this a pigeon?" The screen appeared for the first time in 2011 on Tumblr as a reaction image, but it's until 2018 that it's got a massive popularity, mainly through a resurgence on Twitter. And here are some examples of popular uses of this meme. This one, maybe this one. And even Netflix used it on its official Twitter account, so you can say that this anime got into Netflix, but not in the way you would expect. Just any minute now. Any minute. You know what? I'm stupid, I should just use Ctrl W. Step 1. The source. The anime is called Brave of the Sun Fighbird, and yes, for some reason it's fighbird and not fightbird, although the English title on the Japanese DVD box art is translated as Brave Fighter of Sun Fighbird. As for the rating, it has 7.11. The anime started airing in 1991, and the genre is action, science fiction, and it's a mecha anime, which is a bad thing. And why is that? Let me explain. The anime medium has always been characterized by certain trends that dominate each season. In the 90s, the mecha anime genre was the trend that was all the rage. Almost every anime season during that time was stacked with mecha anime shows, and it seemed like every studio was trying to capitalize on the trend. Some of these shows were genuinely good, with engaging stories, well-developed characters, and innovative mecha designs like Gundam Wing or Evangelion. However, the vast majority of them were just plain garbage, offering nothing more than predictable plots, shallow characters, and recycled mecha designs. Finding a good mecha anime from the 90s is like trying to find a good isekai nowadays. Almost impossible. Let's do a little comparison in here. In spring 2023, I heard people saying that it's stacked with isekai. Like always, we have 11 isekai out of 170 anime airing, which is around 6% isekai for its airing right now. In winter 1991, however, which is the season Fighbird started airing, we had 10 mecha out of 78. Which is 13% of what was airing back then. So just think about the percentage of mass-produced shitty isekai we get nowadays, and double that. But I mean still, there is a possibility that Fighbird is a good show. A really tiny possibility. Aside from the mecha genre, there is another small problem, which is a big one. The anime have 48 episodes in total. But you know what? I think I can watch that. What's the worst that can happen?
Foreshadowing is a narrative device in which suggestions or warnings about events to come are dropped or planted.
Now it's time for step 2, watching the anime. To do that, all we need is a lack of responsibility, a lot of time, and removing all the pop-up ads from this legal anime streaming website. Oh wow, $10,000 is already in my account? Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, please get out of my face. Finally. Okay, this was episode 48, the last episode of Brave of the Sun Fighbird. And that was the most anime I've ever watched. It was so... Anyways, let's move on to step 3, reviewing the anime. So the story basically revolves around an evil guy named Dryas, who decides to unleash destruction on Earth. He's a powerful dude, but he wasn't able to do this alone, so he teams up with an evil scientist to help him achieve his goal. Obviously, an Earth destruction scheme doesn't stay unnoticed, so what did humans do in response? The space police intervened. Yes, this anime has a space police. They borrowed some rescue vehicles and mecha androids from some guy named Dr. Amano and transformed them into these giant mechas to fight off Dryas and his cronies. And they are basically just civilian vehicles that transform into massive fighting mecha robots. Does this sound familiar? Like, isn't that just a Transformers ripoff? Well, yes and no. Because you can't rip off yourself, right? What if I told you that Transformers is actually Japanese? This sounds like a conspiracy theory, but hear me out. I'll give you a recap story behind the making of this anime real fast. In 1984, Transformers started as a line of toys. Yes, you heard me right, not movies, not anime, toys. The toys were created by a Japanese company named Takara, in collab with an American company that we don't give a shit about. 1 year later, our beloved series Transformers was produced by a collab between Marvel and Toei Animation. You know Toei, the Dragon Ball and One Piece anime company. And Toei is Japanese, theory confirmed. Still, this is not common knowledge because something interesting happened. 4 seasons later, Toei Animation lost the project to a Korean animation studio called ACOM. Why? There are no documented reasons on the first page of Wikipedia I read, but you know Toei, guys. Anyways, probably out of bitterness, Toei decided to make their own Transformers anime in collab with Takara, the toys company. This was the company that started it all, so they produced together 3 Transformers anime series, but the collaboration was not going as great as the results made it seem like. This is how the collab was actually going.
Okay.
This collab didn't work out either. Are we surprised at this point? This is Toei we are talking about. They literally destroy every work they handle. Constant reuse of animation, soundtracks and sound effects, badly written filler, in their biggest crime, slow-ass pacing. Even the other companies they did collab with complained about how bad it is to work with them. Toei Animation is the worst anime studio of all time. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. No, thank you. After 3 successful Transformers anime series, the anime popularity dropped and problem occurred between Takara and Toei Animation, so the series was cancelled. 1 year later, Takara, after recovering from its toxic relationship, teamed up again with another animation studio. This time it's Sunrise. The aim was to create a new and completely original Super Robots anime series and toy line that will put Transformers to shame, a fresh blood that will reignite the love for mecha anime in Japan. So in 1990, the 2 companies teamed up to create what would be known as the Brave series. The concept of the series being giant robots that can transform into civil vehicles. Not surprisingly, this new series was very similar to Transformers, but although it followed on from the success of Transformers, it wasn't connected in terms of the narrative, and also it did in fact reignite the love for mecha anime in Japan. And fighbird is a part of this series. So I said before that it's not exactly a ripoff, that's because Takara, the one who created Transformers, is the one who created fighbird. You can't rip off yourself, can you? Now enough with the corporate drama, let's get back to our main subject. What is this fighbird anime and was it worth watching it for the meme? After watching Brave of the Sun fighbird, I discovered that it's linked to a bigger scheme than I first imagined. This isn't a simple anime, it has deeper and wider universe around it. But before that, the first thing I discovered is that this anime is part of a whole series which I mentioned before, called the Brave series. It is basically a collection of 8 unrelated super robot series sharing a similar atmosphere, each running about 50 episodes. And fighbird is the second anime of this series. The only link I could find between these stories is that their plot revolves around sentient robots befriending kids to save the universe from evil robots invaders. God damn, that was a boring sentence. This series started in 1990 and went on until 1998, with probably the most successful one, Gao Gai Gar, which then got an OVA in 2000s. So you got a strong decade that this series went on for. Here's a song that summarizes all the titles from the Brave series. Pop quiz. You're an anime production company and you have a successful anime series. What would you do? The scheme I mentioned earlier was to create a whole franchise around this series. They had toys, merchandising and even video games. And the mecha concept was actually pretty cool, not gonna lie. They were the ones who repopularized the genre in Japan. Also the studio, Sunrise, which made fighbird, is the same studio that produced the legendary Code Geass. If the Yusha series weren't a hit, we may have never seen Code Geass. Imagine missing out on such a gem of an anime. So in honor of this legendary studio, I thought why not review the whole franchise? Just for the fun of it. Our anime, being the second anime in the series, Taiyo no Yusha Fighbird, was adapted into a video game form by Irem, the year after its initial anime release. The game was available on Famicom and Game Boy, and usually, video games that follows an anime title ends up being just a quick dirty affair to snag some extra merchandising cash. The game is a vertical rail shooter. It features primarily enemy tanks, submarines and sea monsters with a few mecha monsters from the series serving as bosses under different names. And I'm just checking if the game actually sucks, and yeah, it actually does. As I said before about Transformers, the series came after the toy line. So it's like the anime is just there to advertise the models and toys. And you can say that the same thing happened with the fighbird anime. It's like an ad for the real profit source, selling the merch, the models, the toys, which are really expensive, by the way. I really don't understand why people love to collect this kind of robot toys, and I don't think I will ever do, because I'm not gonna pay $700 for a toy.
I think we all know where this is going, so let's just skip to the end.
Welcome to Aero Toys Review. Today we are reviewing the fighbird model kits from Shokugan Modeling Project, which can transform from jet mode to robot mode. This is not a sponsored review, by the way, but hey, Takara, I'm always open for sponsorships. And we're gonna start right away with the jet mode of this model. This is the jet mode. Now let's check out the transformation. And this is the basic clean robot mode fighbird, and he looks not bad, I guess. He has a sword, which is supposed to be cool. Yeah! Compared to the Yokohama Gundam model, this is not really that interesting. So overall, this is not a bad toy. There are a lot of things you can do with it. 1. Give it to a 6-year-old kid. Thanks for watching Aero Toys Reviews. Smash that like button, drop that subscribe button, and I see you next time when I review that toy where the shapes go in the shape holes. So now that I've reviewed everything except the anime and brought enough time for this video to be over 10 minutes, I guess it's finally time. The moment of truth. Brave of the Sun Fighbird is dumb. It's so dumb and absurd that it's funny. I laughed so hard at this, I almost forgot how unfunny it was. The dialogue is a joke, it's a fucking embarrassment, and there is no sense of narrative cohesion whatsoever. Scenes just happen with no logical reason behind them, as the anime stacks one plot hole on top of another like it's playing fucking Jenga with them. For example, the two evil guys are sending monsters to Earth to cause chaos. And why are they doing that? I don't fucking know. It's like the writers just forgot to give the villains a motivation or something. The pacing is all over the place, and don't get me started on the transforming montage scenes. Every episode is 99% transforming montages, and they reuse the same animation for every fucking episode. And overall, nothing fucking makes sense. And you know what the funny thing is? There was a moment when I was watching that even those dumb things stopped being funny. I was just there in front of the laptop screen at 3 AM like... So overall, this anime was a huge disappointment. After all the hype I built up while doing my research about the franchise, I really don't understand why such popular memes are part of such bad anime. Even the last meme I did was kind of in a similar situation. But to be honest, there is one thing I enjoyed while watching it, and that is how nostalgic the aesthetic of the show made me feel. I love this kind of desaturated brownish old color palettes. For example, Hunter x Hunter 2011. While the newer style has its own appeal, there is just something about the old subdued color style that is incredibly satisfying. Same for Trigun or Fullmetal Alchemist. The show's muted color style gave it a timeless quality, and the muted colors always make me feel calm and at peace. I don't know why, but maybe I just missed the past. Oh wow, that's so cool. Oh my god, the good old days. Oh jeez. Oh, I remember that one. Oh, I really missed the past. That's amazing. It feels so satisfying. I feel like I really relate to these things, you know? Wait, there is no Wi-Fi? The 90s were a mistake, bro. Step 4. Meme context.
いい若いもんがこんなところで何をしとるんだ。
はい。いい若いもんは勉強しとります。
え、勉強だと？
これは鳩ですか？
鳩？
これはスミレですか？
はあ。
Now you might be thinking, Aru, this is the most confusing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Don't worry, when I explain it, it will get a lot more confusing. Basically, the guy asking the questions is a police officer. He's investigating the case of this scientist guy, Amano. Remember him? He's the one who created the android and the vehicles that can transform into giant robots. So, this police officer is suspicious of him and he's trying to frame him in some way. His idea is to sneak into the lab to get some information. The scene you've just watched is the moment he was trying to enter the lab. Then he encountered this Katsuri guy and started asking him questions. What's up with this dude though? Why is he acting so weird? Basically because he's not human. He's an android trying to discover the world of humans. No wonder why he's mistaken a butterfly for a pigeon. And that's pretty much the context of the meme. So now step 5. Do I recommend this show? Actually, yes. If you want to feel like